What's up, Plus Ultra fam? It's me, Plus Ultraman, and this side story to the What If Piccolo Turned Good early timeline is really and truly a part 6, but it's a side story because it mostly covers some info and setup that is critical to the real part 6, and doing this means that the part that actually comes out that will be part 6 will be more streamlined that we can jump into the story. So we open up with the Z Fighters rushing to try and contact Namek to ask them to revive the dead Vegeta, Goku, and Tien. Remember, Piccolo can now very easily communicate with those on Namek because of the time spent there, his new friendship with the warrior Namekians, and his fusion with Lord Guru. Also, Vegeta, Goku, and Tien are Cell's only victims in this timeline, so they only need to wish them back to life. Though, only one of these mighty warriors makes a decision to resurrect, Tien Shinhan. Goku and Vegeta refuse, as the former want to stay in Otherworld and train, and the latter want a rematch without any interruption or distraction. This is a hard pill to swallow for Gohan and Piccolo, but they accept Goku's feelings. And with that, the Z-Fighters begin to go their separate ways. The humans, save for Tien, deciding to retire as martial artists, as the Saiyans and Piccolo had pretty much taken the defense of Earth up by themselves, and done a very good job of it so far. And also, fun fact, Gohan in this timeline has already found a very good balance between martial arts and his studying, thanks to his death by Vegeta earlier in this timeline. Chi-Chi has seen that Gohan is pretty passionate about fighting, not as much as his father, but more similar to how Piccolo is, and because of this, he hasn't really stopped training in his life yet. Sadly, this training has been on his lonesome, unless he finds the time to go and train with Piccolo, or pulls his new younger brother, Goten, into training as well. Piccolo is now very busy, and is unable to leave the lookout unless it's an emergency. Remember, in the last part, Kami expressed his desire for Piccolo to take up the Guardian title, and tried to fuse with him. This fusion was rendered incomplete for some unforeseen reason, though, with the looming threat of Cell now gone, the time has come for Piccolo to fulfill his father's wishes for him, and they try to fuse again. But, once again, it does not work, though Kami does get an idea.
Piccolo, I want you to try something. Meditate deeply and find all the negativity in your heart, emotions, thoughts, all of it. Collect it and separate it from yourself.
Piccolo was a bit confused by the suggestion, but tried it anyway. It took a while, and he had to sit through all the negative emotions from anger to sadness within his heart. Alarmingly, a lot of them were towards Goku, but he quickly suppressed that thought. Finally, having condensed a small amount of evil in his heart, he separated it from him. The cloud of negativity began to condense itself into a very small green form. The body was iconically Namekian, though the head, it had 2 long horns, sinister red eyes, and his forehead was veiny? No way! Finally! Captain Ginyu of the Ginyu Force is back! Neither Kami nor Piccolo could understand what was happening, but Piccolo spoke first, and angrily.
How are you even alive?
Let me explain. Back on that dumpster of a planet Namek, you defeated me with some kind of multiplication technique, you cheating bastard. I knew I was outmatched, but I could still use my fabulous body switching technique. With my dying breath, I fired it in a way that made it seem like a normal blast, and was able to hit one of your clones. But I was aiming for you, and the clone was fused back into your main body. So I've been trapped in that subconscious of yours this whole time. Piccolo's eye was twitching. He couldn't believe this idiot had been hitching a ride in his mind for this long. It was probably his fault that he and Goku hadn't been getting along. He was just about to squash the pipsqueak green Ginyu when his father stopped him.
Hold on. Let us not be hasty. Killing him kills you, my son. Think before you act.
Yes, cower before me, fool. The great Captain Ginyu of the Ginyu Force. I will steal your main body now and return to Lord Frieza's side. Change now!
Evil containment wave! There we go. Mr. Popo, go put this somewhere safe, would you?
The genie nodded and went off to do just that, as Piccolo began to grow angrier and angrier.
So you mean to tell me that I couldn't fuse with you because of him? With all your power, I could have maybe been able to defeat Cell!
Yes, perhaps. But now is not the time to contemplate what could have been. Those what-if scenarios are meaningless now. You must look toward the future. Now come, we need to teach you the essentials of guardianship, and we should spend some time together before I'm gone, no?
And they did just that. Kami taught Piccolo his abilities, like the instantaneous movement, or Kai Kai. And fun fact, with this ability, Piccolo should be able to visit Goku and Vegeta in Otherworld, but he simply chooses not to. He's not truly mad at Goku anymore, but he is to an extent irritated, and he uses the excuse of now having a lot of responsibility as guardian and needs to stay on the lookout to not go visit him. Kami also teaches him his ability to monitor the Earth, which is used to watch over the world and Gohan as well as the pregnant Chi-Chi. Remember, he and Goku got along with Chi-Chi and Gohan very, very well, and they were a very big happy family, working on their farm, playing with Gohan, learning. This is stuff that they won't be able to do anymore as Gohan is growing up and Piccolo is now the guardian, so he's too busy to. Leaving the lookout should be safe for emergencies, so he can't just do it willy-nilly. So Piccolo is a bit homesick, but when all is said and done, Kami and Piccolo have a heartfelt goodbye and complete their fusion. Though I'm sure a lot of people are curious about Earth's current Dragon Ball situation. Piccolo can't create his own, mind you, but he can phone a friend. With his strong relationship with the Namekians, he can contact them anytime and ask for the aid of Porunga, while in return, Earth's powerful warriors would come to the defense of Namek if she ever needed it again. It was a very symbiotic and beneficial relationship for both planets. As time passes on, Piccolo will be more and more homesick from being away from Mount Paozu and his family, and would definitely keep an eye on them, and try and keep in telepathic contact with them. Gohan and Chi-Chi would come visit sometimes, but those visits would become more and more scarce, with everything getting busy with Chi-Chi being pregnant to make the trip, and Gohan just having training or his own studies to look out for. Piccolo would maybe go to the birth of Goten, but that is around that time the family stopped seeing each other. Though interestingly, Chi-Chi would find small favors done around the house sometimes. Maybe the harvest would be tended to, or even some zing left for them on the counter mysteriously. Piccolo refused to let his family want for anything too badly. Gohan would definitely still form his friendship with Trunks since they're both kids around a similar age, but I think we're never getting to see his big green uncle too much. Goten begins to seek out Piccolo's company more and more, and possibly brings Trunks along. And while it's true that Gohan and Chi-Chi would have definitely trained with Goten a little more than in canon, Piccolo sees the amazing potential in both boys, both figuratively and literally. Because remember, this version of Piccolo can unleash a warrior's untapped potential as Guru did, and would do so for both boys. And from here, he begins to train both boys. Remember, Trunks and Goten have a lot of energy, and with Vegeta not being in Trunks' life in this timeline, like Goku isn't in Goten's life, they're definitely closer. They've had that to bond over. But they're a lot more unfocused. Trunks might be a lot more into playing with toys or video games, or just hang out with his mom because his dad isn't around. Vegeta likely gave Trunks a role model to want to at least seem physically tough in some way, maybe do some workouts and, hang with his dad sometimes, while Goten basically just followed his lead. Here, Trunks initially may come off to Goten as a little boring, as they may end up following Goten's personality more, so Trunks might be the lackey in this timeline. Because of this, both boys are really interested in training with Piccolo, who as the Guardian tries to act a lot more like Kami, all calm and collected, but remember, this Piccolo grew up with Goku, so he maintains his love for children and just a very general excitement and innocence in life. That said, the boys do need refinement, so I can definitely see Piccolo making them train and meditate a lot, and probably do a lot of training with Mr. Popo as well. He could possibly have them climb Corrin's tower and train with the Cat Master for doing that even. The boys will also go through a lot of meditation, which they wouldn't love, but Piccolo would insist on it. This results in Goten and Trunks being much more refined fighters, with their heads being screwed onto their shoulders a little tighter. They aren't completely stoic Kenshiro kind of characters, or anything like that, because even Piccolo is a lot more playful in this timeline. But the boys are a little more zen and mature when the situation calls for it. It's also very possible for these two to master Super Saiyan and be on the very verge of awakening Super Saiyan 2. And this change in Goten would probably cause Gohan to seek out some training with his uncle as well, though again, not as much, as he has other things to balance training with. With that said, this version of Gohan has already gained a very good grasp over his Super Saiyan 2 form, and with Piccolo being a master of the Kaioken, I think his advice would be able to try and achieve the same mastery of this form as Gohan and Goku developed over the Super Saiyan 1 form. Whether this is possible or not is not really the issue here. Gohan is a much more powerful fighter in this timeline because of this advice, and he's much stronger than even Vegeta was at this point in the story in canon. Another change from this timeline is that the Cell games were not broadcast, so it's very possible that Mr. Satan has not developed anywhere near the same amount of fame as he does in the original timeline. Meaning no Satan City, and we still have Orange City. He's still famous, but he just doesn't have the same amount of star power, and if he is beaten, he's pretty much washed up and forgotten. Videl would probably still attend Orange Star High School, and could very likely be weaker and not serve the city as a crime fighter. She'd be a very average high schooler actually. Gohan would likely attend Orange Star as well, and if he does end up fighting crime, acting as the Golden Warrior persona, he may not even switch that to the Great Saiyaman persona. Gohan might not be so worried about his own privacy. Even if he is, and he asks Bone for a costume, the Great Saiyaman persona would likely be different. With no interference or influence from Videl, there is no reason for any of the Z Fighters to enter the 25th Budokai. And on another note, this could cause the advances of Irasa, Gohan's other classmate, to be better noticed by Gohan, causing a relationship to blossom between them further down the line. This means that when a certain godly visitor arrives, he doesn't enter the tournament, and instead directly approaches the new Guardian of Earth. Piccolo is just as flushed as in canon. As Kami's son, he has been raised to really respect the title of Kai, and the Supreme Kai is kind of like a hero among heroes to Piccolo. Shin tells Piccolo the entire story of Bibbidi, Bobbidi, and Boo, and finally explains that he's come here to ask for the aid of the powerful warriors of the Earth. Hearing of how powerful Boo really is, as well as the magics of Bobbidi, and with Shin saying that Piccolo wouldn't be enough on his own, that they would need the son of Goku, Piccolo decides they need even more firepower to really lock this down.
Mr. Popo, please go and bring fortune teller Baba to the lookout. It's time Goku and Vegeta made a visit to the world of the living.
But that is where I'll leave the story for right now. Will Goku and Piccolo ever mend the relationship truly? How powerful have Goku and Vegeta become after 7 years? Will Piccolo be able to handle the pressure of being Guardian? Find out all this and more next time. And until then, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I'm a pretty fun follow. Join the Discord to interact with the community. And to like, comment, and share this video. And subscribe and hit the bell as well. I'm also super excited to announce that we have our first patron with our newbie tier Chase Bolton. So huge thanks to him. And if you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel and have your own shoutouts, then consider supporting Plus Ultraman on Patreon. But with that said, all that's left to do is tell you to take care of yourselves and always go beyond Plus Ultra. See you guys next time.